Celerio Epic smells shockingly similar to Angel Share, but at a fraction of the cost. What's good, guys? Hunter here and welcome back to Fragrance Hunter. Hope you're all doing good. Today we are reviewing a fragrance from the house of Dumont Paris, which is of course Celerio Epic, which this one has gotten a ton of hype, guys, especially when it comes to Angel Share alternatives. So I'm so excited about this review because big fan of that DNA. So anytime I can test something that's very similar to it, I'm all in. Of course, I own Angel Share. I own pretty much all of the homme. I own zaharoff blends, and now we got Dumont's take on it. So of course, we're gonna see if this one's any good or not. And I'm a huge fan of Dumont Paris. When you think of this brand, you probably think of like Nitro Red, which is awesome. Now, I do want to shout out the Perfume Box for sending this over for review. Of course, you already know, I'll keep it honest. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. But check them out. They have a huge catalog of fragrances at a great price. Now let's run down some information. So Celerio Epic was launched back in 2023. So it's only been around for a few years now at the time of this recording. For the retail price, only size this comes in, which is the 100 ml. Is going to run you roughly around 45 bucks, give or take, which is definitely a solid price for the kind of fragrance you're getting, no doubt about that. And for the concentration, this one is going to be an eau de parfum, so you're probably getting roughly around 25% oils, which as we know is very high. And for the perfumer, try to do some research. I have no idea the nose behind Celerio Epic, so if anybody has that info, drop a comment down below. But besides that, guys, with all the information out of the way, let's look at the packaging and presentation you get with this fragrance now. All right, taking a look at this box presentation, which is absolutely epic, just like that name. Of course, you got that logo, Dumont Paris, Celerio Epic, eau de parfum 100 ml. On the bottom, you got your barcode and batch code to authenticate your product to see when it was produced. These are also made in France, so you already know that quality is gonna be there. Same information on the back with your ingredients. You got that logo up top. Now, let me open this up and show you the inside of this. Because look at this inner box, guys. This gives me like Fragrance du Bois, Zaharoff vibe, because you open it up and you have this beautiful red velvet interior where your bottle is housed, man. That is insanely high quality, attention to detail packaging, especially for that price, man. That is insane. All right, now taking a look at the bottle, of course, you're gonna have the same color scheme with that beautiful dark red color vibe going on. Dumont embossed around there. Celerio Epic. On the bottom, you got Dumont embossed on the bottom with your batch code and sticker. Nothing on the back. You got that D for Dumont up top. Guys, this cap is metal and very, very heavy. It feels like the weight of a PDM cap, and it does click in very securely. All in all, I think the bottle does look very sharp. In the top, you got cinnamon, cognac, apple, and nutmeg. In the mid, you're gonna find that plum and dry wood. In the base, you got vanilla and musk. And this is classified as a sweet fruity. So let's spray this, test out these atomizers. Honestly, not the best atomizers, not pressurized, but it does shoot out enough juice that is necessary. And looking at the note breakdown, very similar to Angel Share, but does have a few differences, which I love. So I'll let you guys do that first sniff. So right away in the opening, you're gonna get this very fruity, juicy Granny Smith green apple, guys. It opens up with a heavy dose of apple immediately. So it's gonna be very, very fruity and delicious, because who doesn't love a good Granny Smith green apple? Now, mixing up with that note, you do have this spicy, warm, cozy cinnamon. Of course, if you're gonna have an Angel Share alternative, you gotta have cinnamon in the opening, and this one sure does. And alongside the apple and cinnamon, you have that very boozy, smooth cognac note, guys. It's such a smooth, boozy opening through and through from the cognac alone. I will say, however, this one opens up a little bit more fruity than boozy. It's a much fruitier take on the Angel Share DNA to my nose. But geez, apple, cognac, and cinnamon make for such an incredible, captivating opening, of course. Now, as we make our way into the mid is what makes this one stand apart from any other fragrance in this genre, because you're gonna get this fruity, dark plum, guys. Now, plum, one of my favorite fruity notes in perfumery, hands down. I always love a good dark plum fruity note. And of course, that fruity plum you're not gonna find in the OG Angel Share or any of the other alternatives that I personally tried. So it does make this one stick out, and also makes it a much fruitier take on the Angel Share DNA through and through. And personally, if I were to take the Angel Share DNA and I had to choose any fruit to choose, I would absolutely pick plum, because plum goes perfect with cinnamon and cognac, and of course that apple as well. And then finally in the base, of course, you're gonna get that very sweet, creamy, slightly spicy vanilla, guys. You need vanilla in this DNA to kind of round it off completely. Now with the vanilla, you do also have this kind of white muskiness in the background. It's not necessarily like a clean musk, but it's also not necessarily like an animalic musk. It's just kind of is this warm, comforting, musky base with the vanilla. And I gotta say now, I think this might be my favorite alternative to the OG Angel Share because I love the fruity direction that Celerio Epic goes into, especially with that added plum, guys. I think it works perfectly. So have you guys tried this one yet? What do you think about it? And how do you think it compares to Angel Share when it comes down to it? Because man, Angel Share has so many alternatives now. Pretty much every single house has their take on that genre. And I think Dumont really knocked it out of the park with theirs. So for the best seasons to rock Celerio Epic, guys, of course, fall and winter strictly. That's the only time I ever reach for this fragrance or anything in this genre. Obviously, guys, fall and winter, the cold months, this stuff shines perfectly. Just because it's warm, it's fruity, it's sweet, it's spicy, it's boozy, which shine the best in the colder months. Definitely not the spring and summer at all, which is perfect for me because right now we're in the winter and I love wearing this during the winter months. And when it comes down to occasion, I think this is both casual and formal, especially this one because the fruitiness brings out a more casual side, but still has that formal, elegant side to it because it's boozy and spicy. But absolutely for evening nights out rather than daytime, guys. If you're going out with the boys to like a club, to a party, this is perfect, especially in the colder weather. Also, if you're taking a lady out on a date night to like a fancy dinner or something like that, this is also perfect. Obviously not a fragrance you want to wear to the gym or even possibly going to work, especially if you're working a close quarter kind of office situation. But more so evening and night times out is the best to rock this. And believe me, when you're wearing this one at night, guys, it's going to give you some epic reactions, no doubt about it. Now, when it comes to gender, I'm going to classify this one as unisex at the end of the day. Both a man and a woman can rock this one easily because my girl loves the Angel Share DNA even on herself, which I wouldn't usually expect if I'm being honest with you. I would probably categorize this stuff as masculine, but no, I can see a lady wearing this one flawlessly, especially this one because it's even a fruitier take on the Angel Share DNA when it comes to it, which of course for some reason the ladies love fruity fragrances on themselves, but obviously men as well, guys. Boozy, fruity, spicy, you already know the deal. This is gonna shine on you too. Now when it comes to age groups with Celerio Epic, this one is versatile, both youthful and mature. I would usually categorize this stuff as a mature fragrance because when it comes to it, it's a boozy DNA, which obviously you don't want younger people wearing. You don't want to walk around smelling like booze if you're like 18. However, though, it's a fruitier take on it, which means both a youthful audience and a more mature audience are able to enjoy this. If you are younger and maybe you thought Angel Share was a little bit more mature, the homme line was more mature, etc., you want something in that realm, but just youthful, I think this is a great alternative for you especially. This is even a fragrance I would probably think is safe to even wear and go to school, maybe high school, college. You don't want to smell like booze. Because believe me, the booze is still there, but it's far in the background behind the apple, the plum, the cinnamon, the vanilla, etc. So all ages can rock this one. And if I was a little bit younger, like late teens, and I wanted something like this, I would probably pick this one out of any of the others, especially even for the price too. But of course, if you are a little bit older, like 30, 40 and up, you can rock it obviously. Now, wrapping the review out, talking on the performance you're gonna get from Celerio Epic. So it is an EDP. I've tested this one a few times, worn it, and on my skin, I got slightly above average performance with 10 hours of longevity, guys, which is outstanding. Mind you, that's on skin. If you apply your clothes, you already know the drill. You're gonna get a few hours longer, maybe even to the next day or two, possibly. So as I always say, do a mixture of both. Spray your skin for projection and apply your clothes for longevity, so you get the best of both worlds. But still, 10 hours of longevity on skin is very, very solid. Pretty much on par with Angel Share and all of the other alternatives, guys. This is not a weak fragrance by any means. And also when it comes to the projection, I got about moderate projection, which means it's gonna push off the skin, not fill up an entire room, but it's gonna push off about an arm's length of distance, especially for the first few hours. So you will get attention, you will get comments, you will get people probably saying, write that fragrance down, what is that? Because the sillage just leaves behind you is this fruity, boozy, spicy goodness of a scent trail. Which who doesn't love notes like that, guys? Everybody is gonna enjoy this. It's not offensive. People aren't gonna be mad about your fragrance, but it's also not a complete like crowd-pleasing, freshy, clean fragrance either, obviously. But still, when it comes to fruity, boozy, spicy fragrances, the majority of people are gonna love this one and give you a ton of compliments because believe me, they're also gonna be able to smell you. So above average 10 hours of longevity with about moderate projection is what you should expect from Dumont Celerio Epic, which I think is good. But that's gonna do it for my review of this hyped fragrance from Dumont. Let me know down below if you guys have tried this one yet. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree with my review? Because personally, I actually really like this one when it comes to that genre, and that's hard to say because I'm getting almost kind of tired of that DNA guide because it's kind of overplayed now. Still, this one takes it in a different direction, which I respect. But besides that, leave a like on the video, subscribe below if you haven't already, because what are you doing? I got you with daily fragrance content. And of course, I'm gonna catch all of you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody.